At the end of chapter 33, the main cast was finally able to leave the moon and get back to Earth, or what's left of it anyway. We start the chapter by having our eardrums explode because of Rosalia and Lilia, who are living a carefree life where they get to play and have fun every day inside a dream created by Project Stigma. After that, we see how different dreams affect the Earth's population. Fu Hua explains that the deep was once part of a city called Atra, and because of the connection with the moon through the Stargate, the moon base was named New Atra after the ancient city. The deep remained relatively safe and unaffected by Project Stigma due to its former connection with the Sea of Quanta. The girls split up in 3 ships, groups. Kiana and Mei, who are tasked with checking out the space around, Fu Hua and Senti, who investigate the damage done by Project Stigma, and Brona and Sele, who search for resources left behind by anti-entropy. While making their way to the surface, Fu Hua reveals that the snake form that Kevin took in the Sea of Quanta to talk with Welt and Sele is called Kukulkan, one of the many incarnations of the Vipralopa class Honkai beast Brahma, and a result of Project Chimera. Brone and Sele get to the surface and find Susana, who just woke up in the deep not too long ago. They re-establish communication with Chixel and AE, and Nagamitsu confirms that she launched Susana into the deep using the Cosmic Juggernaut to protect her from Project Stigma. Kiana was searching for an anchor in space that they could use to leave the deep, but the only thing she could sense are the remains of Saint Freya, which are spread in every direction of the space. Nagamitsu and Tesla confirm that because Saint Freya was one of the first places affected by Project Stigma, its residue data basically scattered everywhere, and that's why Kiana can sense it. Luckily, they can use this opportunity to reclaim the space and move closer to the main battlefield. A couple hours later, Kiana and the rest are about to put their plan in action. The plan is as follows. Step 1. Get Durandal and Sushang back from the imaginary space. Step 2. Use the Harsher of the Void's power and Sumeru to locate the scattered data of Saint Freya through all dimensions. Step 3. Use imaginary renormalization to put all the scattered data together and recreate the space. And step 4, reorganize there and continue with the plan to counter Project Stigma. But as Kiana is repeating the plan in her mind, the 4-step plan quickly became a 3-step plan since Durandal and Sushang were already rescued from the imaginary space without her realizing. Meanwhile, Teresa wakes up in a space called the Planet Directory, which serves as a main hub for Project Stigma. There, she meets Siegfried, who reveals that because Kevin took all the power of the Chimera, he ended up following its traces here from the Kaslana Stigmata space. After fighting through hordes of imaginary constructs, I Lambda appears and warns them that Kiana will soon alter this space and that they are in danger. She can help Teresa escape, but she cannot help Siegfried since the form we see now is just a projection of his consciousness in imaginary space and he is actually still trapped in the Kaslana Stigmata space. Kiana and the rest finally reach Saint Freya, where they find Teresa collapsed. She tells them about Siegfried and they decide to go and save him. For that to happen, they need to find a way inside the Kaslana Stigmata space. Durandal reveals that she is the awakened of the Kaslana Stigmata and that she can sense the traces left behind by Teresa's dream devouring to pinpoint the exact location of the space. Kiana and Durandal reach the Kaslana Stigmata space, but because Teresa is weakened and the rest are not compatible with the space itself, they are not able to enter. The sisters team up and manage to rescue Siegfried. Durandal doesn't know how to approach the situation, but after she musters her courage, she tells Siegfried about what happened in the Kaslana Stigmata space. The photo she kept from that day syncs her memories with Siegfried and Kiana, and after a seemingly awkward reunion, Kiana gives them a little push and they all end up in a big group hug. Back at Saint Freya, Rita already told Teresa about Durandal's real identity, and she was the only person in the entire game that was actually surprised by it. The girls return with their father, and the two sisters are given some time alone to process their feelings. After another touching moment of Kianaception, we found out that May went missing ever since they returned from imaginary space. Act 2 starts with Lambda trying to wake up the people trapped inside the dreams, including Rosa and Lily, by giving them hints about their situation. While looking through the Project Stigma's main net, she finds the manifestation of the Grey Serpent network and even May's dreams, who she is very surprised to see captured by Project Stigma. The Golden Serpent responsible for maintaining Project Stigma approaches her with a very cynical attitude and almost zero understanding of humanity's nature. I personally found the discussion between the two very fascinating. We have Lambda, who calls the dreams made by Project Stigma fragile because they are only a shallow imitation of human life. To her, curiosity and the drive to move forward are the foundation of human existence, and that's something that Stigma cannot replicate. It's a fascinating discussion about the nature of humanity from the perspective of two outsiders. Anyway, I digress. In the end, Lambda's consciousness gets absorbed by the Stigma space. Since she started thinking in the same way as a human, Project Stigma recognized her as one and started to affect her. Inside her dream, May is at an amusement park together with Bronya and Kiana. While searching for a new attraction, they stumble upon Guide Elysia, who offers her professional guide services to show them around. They follow her to different attractions and games, and they even start a treasure hunt together. While searching for treasures, May realizes that she's inside a dream due to Elysia constantly planting hints for her. Ellie, who is a manifestation of May's signets, guides her further and reveals that the final treasure can lead May out of the dream. If you remember back in chapter 31, Vill-V said that she left a backdoor inside May's mind when she left the Elysian realm. Well, it seems that she wasn't kidding. With the help of the compass, May is back in reality where she reunites with Kiana and Bronya. She tells them about the backdoor left by Vill-V, and Teresa takes them to Salt Lake Base to meet up with AE and discuss their plans for moving forward. A few hours later, Einstein and Tesla talk about their findings. Einstein says that the reason why Kevin is so confident that Project Stigma can purge Honkai is because the project will synchronize the new humans with the cocoon of finality by spreading the authority to all of them. After studying the beacon left for May, Tesla realizes that it tries to transmit a message but it has no recipient. Einstein thinks that the recipient might be the Authority of Origin and that they could use it to perfect their plan of seizing the Authority of Finality if they manage to find it. Anti-Entropy and Schicksal's plan consist of three parts. First, reclaiming the Earth. Because the Kaslana Stigma space that Teresa took from Kevin is one of the endpoints for Project Stigma, Nagamitsu wants to use it to reverse the project and restore the spaces that were codified. Second, transcending finality. As the name suggests, this plan is all about taking control of the Authority of Finality. In order to do this, AE planned to transform Kiana into an artificial Herrscher of Finality by surgically implanting all Herrscher cores inside her. Unfortunately, they severely underestimated Kiana's situation, and because of the disaster caused by the Herrscher of the Void, they lost hope for this plan. Only after studying the Herrscher of Domination, they realized that all the Herrscher cores are linked to the Cocoon of Finality and not directly to the imaginary tree as they initially thought. Tesla explains that the Cocoon of Finality is the only true Herrscher core, and all the other Herrschers are simply projections of its powers through different dimensions. The Herrscher of Finality was granted the authority of time to keep resetting the world until it finds the right embrace for humanity. This plan is directly tied with the third one, which is exploring the origin. They believe that the compass can lead them to the Authority of Origin, which was lost in imaginary space for 50,000 years, and can gather the missing authorities for them to complete the plan. An hour later, Durandal and Elysia use the Kaslana Stigma space and the Abyss Flower to restore Earth's space to its initial state, allowing Nagamitsu and the Cosmic Juggernaut to anchor it back to reality. Back at Saint Freya, Bronya points out that they need to hack into the mainnet and manipulate Project Stigma in their favor if they want to get the Authority of Origin. The real codifier behind the project is a husk monster that Word Serpent controls through the power of Finality. Bronya traces the strings created by the defeated monsters and manages to transport herself, May and Kiana to the mainnet. There, they defeat Husk existentialism and Bronya opens up a path for May. The compass finally responds to a signal and transports May to a space that looks like a train station. There, the original Vill-V's voice is heard through the compass and it is revealed that the beacon was never a way to find the Authority of Origin, but only a message from Vill-V to Elysia. Well, I guess that not even that can stop Vill-V from trolling us, huh? Act 3 starts with a conversation between Raven and May at the train station. Grey Serpent traps May inside another dream, but Raven was subtly trying to warn her about his plan this whole time by giving the harsher hints during their dialogue. Grey Serpent saw Raven's actions as betrayal and kicked her out from the organization, threatening to even kill her if May escapes the dream because of her hints. May wakes up in an empty white space and sees multiple versions of herself during different moments in her life. Due to the hints given by Raven, she realizes that this dream tries to rewrite her past and create a world where her regrets do not exist. In an incredible display of maturity and growth, May doesn't fall for it and breaks apart the space from the dream, revealing that her harsher persona is back. May realized that she is actually her Will of Stigma that awakened when her father implanted the Gem of Conquest inside her body to save her life from a deadly illness. Since she had a stigma at that time, the will inside her stigma was awakened as the Harsher of Thunder. The Will of Stigma was recreated now because of Project Stigma. She laments the fact that she gave all her powers to May in order to save Kiana, just for her to let Kiana put herself in danger by becoming the Harsher of Finality. She calls May weak and tells her that because of that, Kiana has to sacrifice herself over and over. May responds by saying that she wants to respect Kiana's decisions from now on and that she will not try to restrain her anymore. She tells the Will of Stigma that she is the weak one instead, because she is only trying to hide in fantasies of a false reality in which she thinks that she'll be happy. In the end, the Will of Stigma accepts May's perspective and sends her off to confront Grey Serpent. The Ugly Serpent wanted to use May as an experimental subject to see if he could replace all Stigma awakened with their Will of Stigmata, but unfortunately for him, his fate was already decided by somebody else. While fighting May, his limbs suddenly began to spasm and twist as he fell to the ground. May inspects his body and learns that Grey Serpent 1904, aka the coolest Grey Serpent, which was also the Grey Serpent that recruited Hare and was taking care of the kids on the moon, was against Project Stigma and planned to destroy the whole Grey Serpent network with Jackal's help. After the fight is over, Durandal gets into contact with May and tells her that a domain of unknown origins in space is approaching her. May is transported back to the train station and sees Elysia's crystal in the distance. After vanquishing her doubts and fears that held her back, May's emotions and desire to see Elysia again bring the Authority of Origin to her. It is revealed that Vill-V's message was basically a big gamble which used May's desire for reuniting with Elysia to make the Authority of Origin come to her. May and Elysia's lingering image formed by the Authority of Origin have a heartwarming reunion, after which May takes on the Authority and becomes the new Harsher of Origin.